There once was a young man who sold his soul to the devil. Now this wasn't done in a moment of anger or desperation, but rather while he was lying in bed at night and he was bored. The devil appeared before him and offered him a deal, his soul for $1 million. And the young man agreed. The devil handed over a briefcase containing $1 million in cash and then disappeared. The young man opened the briefcase, took out a few $1,000s and shoved it into his pockets. Then he went out into the night to spend the rest of the money. He bought expensive clothes, jewelry and shoes, threw wild parties, and generally lived the high life. For a while everything was great. He had all the money he could ever want and he was having a great time spending it. However, as the years passed, he began to feel a strange emptiness inside him. He had everything he ever wanted, but he still felt like something was missing. One day, the devil came to collect on his soul. The young man was terrified. He begged the devil to give him back his soul so that he could live the rest of his life as a good person. But the devil was not having it. He had made a deal with the young man and he was going to collect on it. As the devil reached out to grab the young man's soul, the young man screamed, "Wait, I want my soul back." The devil stopped and said, "Why should I give you your soul back? You made a deal with me and I'm about to collect." The young man said, "I was young and stupid when I made that deal. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Please, I beg of you, give me my soul back." The devil thought for a moment. He could always take the young man's soul, but something about the sincerity of the young man's pleas made him want to make a new deal. So he said, "All right, I'll give you your soul back, but only if you can answer one question correctly. What is the sound of one hand clapping?" The young man was ecstatic. He thanked the devil and ran away as fast as he could. The devil stood there watching the young man go. A small smile appeared on his face. He had a feeling that the young man would not be able to answer his question correctly, and he would get to keep his soul. The young man ran as fast as he could, not stopping until he got home and locked the door behind him. He thought long and hard about the devil's question. He racked his brain trying to come up with an answer, but he just couldn't figure it out. No matter how hard he tried, the answer to the devil's question remained elusive. Days turned into weeks, and the young man's hope began to dwindle. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to answer the question correctly, and the devil would come to collect his soul. Then, just when he was about to give up hope, he remembered something. He had heard an old monk talking about the sound of one hand clapping. The monk had said that it was the sound of enlightenment. The young man thought about this and realized that maybe the answer to the devil's question was not a literal sound, but a metaphor for something else. He decided to go see the old monk and ask him the question directly. When the old monk heard the question, he smiled and said, "You want to know the sound of one hand clapping? It is this." And with that, he slapped himself across the face. The young man was stunned. That was the answer. The sound of one hand clapping was the sound of the old monk slapping himself. The young man thanked the old monk and raced back home. He had only seconds to spare before the devil came to collect his soul. When the devil arrived, the young man answered the question correctly and the devil was furious. He had been tricked, and there was nothing he could do about it. With a final glare at the young man, the devil vanished. The young man was free from the clutches of the devil, but he knew that he would never forget the deal he had made. For the rest of his life he would be haunted by the memory of the devil and the sound of one hand clapping. The end.